And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Catapult Kingdoms. When I was a kid, I played a game called Crossbows and Catapults. I'm sure many people out here have heard it. Also, the competitor to Crossbows and Catapults, Weapons and Warriors. The games were very simple. You put catapults and different weapons of machinery, and shot them at each other. Whether in Crossbows and Catapults, it was discs. In Weapons and Warriors, it was little orange balls. And you just fired and tried to knock over your opponent's stuff. Silly, fun. And it's back. It's back in a version called Catapult Kingdoms. It says the war for the floor has begun once more. And yes, they obviously, now this is probably closer to Weapons and Warriors than it is to Crossbows and Catapults, because here you are shooting little rubber balls at each other. And there's also some expansions: the Artificer's Tower, Siege, a Viking boat, and a volcano. Ooh. So let's talk about all this. I mean, it's going to be shooting stuff at each other's castle, but here's a little bit more. Now this is not set quite to scale. The castles need to be built 1.5 meters apart. These are not even close to that. But I needed them to be in the camera shot. And what you're going to do in this game is you build your castle any way you want. The only thing is you have to stay on your area. So you'll see there's a board you have to stay on. And your castle blocks have to be flat. You can't have them leaning or anything. I don't know why you would want to. Maybe, I don't know. You got some catapults. You also have a set of 6 action cards. Each player has the same set of cards. On your turn, you can play one of your cards, letting you add 3 blocks to your castle, letting you shoot your opponent's catapult wherever it's at, moving your people around, using one of your cards your opponent's already played, pulling a card randomly from your hand and keeping it, and shooting twice on your turn. So then, after that, you need to be a distance of maximum 2, your catapult from where your castle is. So I might be there, for example. And then you just shoot at your opponent's castle. Pulling the catapult back. That was a bad shot. Come on. I think I'm being too... Nope, that's too high. Come on. Ah, there we go. Now it's hit that guy. Now that I got the range down. Nope, little... Yeah! So knocking your opponent's blocks off is not so important. It's knocking the opponent's people off. If a block comes off the board completely, it's removed from the game. If a person is knocked over in any fashion, they're removed. You need to take out all the people from your opponent. After you're done shooting, then it's your opponent's turn. You just keep going back and forth till one player wins. If you play with the Artificer's Tower, you're going to have tower pieces that you can build. When you play with any of the expansions, you can have 2 weapons, and a new weapon here is this one here, which has wheels on it. And so that's kind of cool. You're going to be able to drive around what's called the Mighty Plunger. And the Mighty Plunger, it has to have someone in it. So you have a person here, and you can move it slow distance on your turn. But this one, you pull back like this. Whoops. Come on now. Yeah, that feels real good. Ah, I like it. And also, this one comes with some new action cards. One of the action cards lets you use a beehive in one of your devices. And a beehive bounces all over the place after, if you notice here, it does some funky bouncing when you shoot it. So this one's cool. It gives you more pieces. You have the same number of people, but you have 2 items. I like this a lot. And we found this set comes with, the beehives, which you need an action card to play, but we played whole games where we just used the beehives instead of the regular catapult balls, and we like that better. The Siege expansion adds even new stuff. It has more action cards, some more building blocks. You can add women to your battlefield, so you can just, you still have the same number of people, you just pick which models you want to use. And then you have this new device here, the ballista. So this is made up of 2 pieces. They fit together like this. This one is one of the easiest ones to shoot. You're going to pull back the ball like that and then shoot it. So like this. Yeah, it's actually, I think it's the easiest one to shoot. This is easier than a Catapult. This is just a really good one. I would buy this set mostly, for the diversity of characters and more blocks, but I really like this device a lot. Unfortunately, the Volcano is a huge waste of money in my opinion. This is a very heavy thing. I mean, if you want maybe a piece of terrain for miniatures game, it's worth it. But this comes with some more action cards. But essentially, yeah, you get to shoot fireballs. You drop them in here, and you don't know what side they're going to come out. Now that looked cool because it actually knocked over pieces. But when it's really far away, the ball just really moves slowly. And essentially, if it touches a piece, it blows that piece up. But that's not that big of a deal. Like, you can force it to come out a certain side if you drop it in these, which you can do. But usually, you just drop it in the top, and you don't know where it comes out. It's cool for like a moment. But we just found this to be not that interesting. It's like, wow, a volcano! But it didn't, meanwhile you're shooting balls and beehives at each other, knocking them over. This wasn't that exciting. On the other hand, the Vikings are really fun. You're going to have a Viking ship with some Viking warriors that are coming towards your castle. You want to shoot at these Viking warriors. If you knock them over, you can use the Viking cannon to shoot at the opponent, which, by the way, is another great that's a cool thing. So this is kind of a neutral player. I suppose you could buy two of these and each player could just have one of these cannons with the Viking ship. It's fun, and so between all the stuff you see, there's a lot of variety. Everything is good quality. The games come with plenty of extra rubber bands in case you need to reset everything. It shows you how to put these together, just rubber bands, but they also have videos online where it shows you, which I had to use for a couple of them. I forget which ones, but a few of them I had a little bit of trouble, I think, putting them together. But they're really sturdy. I mean, this is really good quality plastic stuff. And the balls here are kind of like a hard Nerf. So that I like that better than them just being plastic. These are plastic, the Volcano ones. Like I said, the Volcano, these are heavy plastic. The Volcano is the least interesting of everything. The blocks are nice. They're good quality. I mean, everything here is really well put together. The cards are my biggest complaint because I don't find the symbols on them intuitive. I almost wish they had just written on here what the card did. But other than that, the component quality here, the beehive is made of like eraser material. This is just really a neat, well done, put together set. When it comes down to it, I don't have to tell you whether to get this game or not. You saw from there whether you want it. There are a few people who watch this and instantly were like, yes, I've wanted this to come back since I was a kid. I played this with my son and we just had a blast. The action cards are okay, by the way. I think you can take them out and just shoot at each other. The action cards add some different things. Some of them, like steal a card from your opponent's hand and use it. That felt like they ran out of ideas for action cards. That's not interesting. I really dislike that card. In fact, a house rule I have is we don't play with that card because it's almost always the first card you'll play. Why wouldn't you? You take one of your opponent's cards. You might even take their card that lets you steal a card from someone else's hand. It's just a silly card in my opinion. But moving your catapult, doing different things, that's more interesting. But the action cards feel like a tacked on thing to make it more of a game. But the game is just toys. You're just shooting at each other. That's the fun of the game. Now I will say the original game, the catapults are fun. I like the other devices better. If I was going to only one expansion, it would easily be Siege. Because I like the Siege weapons. I like that it adds the female characters and more building blocks. But I also like the Artificer's Tower. So if I have my druthers, I'll get all three of these. The Viking boat is really cool, but not necessary. And like I said, the Volcano is just a waste of money, in my opinion. It looks neat, but whatever. I'm not going to keep mine. I'm going to keep everything else, though, because this is a game that I'm going to keep at my house and play with my son. And at some point, he'll be too old to play with it. Maybe. And then my grandkids someday will come in and we'll play that together. This is just silly fun. Yes, the balls bounce all over the place and you're always running around collecting them. But because they're Nerf, they don't bounce too far and they're easy to see. That's something I like a lot. The blocks are going to fall over pretty easily. It's like any other game where you're shooting stuff and you'll take a few turns to figure out the distance, and after that, you got it. There's a little bit of maneuvering as you move stuff around. And like I said, the action cards will add stuff for some people. Maybe for me, they're just missing the point. Like I said, the action cards I found to be okay, but they almost felt like a distraction from the just shoot at your opponent. If it's so much easier if I shoot, you shoot, I shoot, you shoot. We just do that back and forth. It's a fun, fast game. You can play it on the floor, you can play it on tables, you can play it with pillows, you can just shoot all over the house. Everywhere parents may not like this game, but this is one parent who likes it a lot and likes playing it with his son. So I give this one a good recommendation. Crossbows and Catapults is back of sorts. It's different, but it gives you the same feeling. Catapult Kingdoms. I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. Dice Tower judgment approved.